How's everybody doing out in Facebook land, Twitter land? Against the Grain Sports, your host Jody Coleman. We're here talking about who should be in the national championship game. We're here on the college football edition of Against the Grain Sports. We're going to be discussing with some of our panel members. Let's go ahead and bring on our first one, our college football analyst, Jason Coleman. Come on up, Jason.
Yeah, it's going.
How you doing? All right. Have a seat here. We also have another one of our analysts that's come on. He's our college basketball, but he will be discussing here. We got Donald Coleman coming on. How you doing? All right. Have a seat. Have a seat. So all the people out here in Facebook land that's been following us, a lot of people that I've seen, like Carl Cameron has been a person that always been following us on Against the Grain Sports. Also, Terrence Young is another one that's always commenting. We're going to be shouting y'all out, the ones that's been commenting on a regular basis. We're going to be shouting y'all out from week to week. Those are just a few. If we left y'all, trust me, we know y'all commenting, y'all reading, we will give y'all a shout out. But we're going to go ahead and ask you right here, Donald. You said that do you think Boise State should be in the national championship game or TCU?
No.
Why not?
Because of the competition level and who they're playing.
I mean, but they can only play that's on who's on their schedule.
You're right, but that's why I like to go against the computers a lot, because it may end up sliding them in there. When in all actuality, if you put them up against a Alabama or Auburn or Ohio State, these teams will get destroyed.
And I mean, how do you come up with that? You tell me TCU. Let me give you a little stat on TCU. TCU is another undefeated team. They got a big game against Utah next week. TCU, I think, will beat Utah. TCU beat an Air Force team by, I think it was 45-7, right? Oklahoma only beat them by 7 points. You don't think that Boise or TCU gets an opportunity if they're beating teams that major universities are struggling with?
Yeah, no, I don't think we could get an opportunity, because if you put them in a head-to-head competition, that's why I'm a big fan of a playoff.
I mean, and that's something we're definitely going to talk about is a playoff. But you saying no. You saying no, they don't deserve it.
No.
So why even put them in the ranking?
Because, I mean, it's good for... I don't know why they put them in the ranking.
Yeah, they might as well have a whole separate ranking by themselves. You're not going to put them in there. I'm going to get back to you in a second. But let's go with Jason Coleman, our college football analyst, and also guru. Do you think Boise State or TCU or even Utah should have an opportunity to play in the national championship game?
You know what? It's kind of funny. I will say no, but you know, it's funny that everybody keeps on pointing out Boise State as being the team that's going to play in the championship. Well, I think TCU or Utah can leapfrog them because they have a stronger schedule. I mean, they play in a better conference.
But I mean, but that's my whole point about that's why I'm so animated about this, because they can only play when they schedule. Boise State started the season at 3. They win it, and it was by Tech, Virginia Tech, for the people that didn't know. Oh, they beat this team. They're playing on neutral field. They're playing in D.C., and that's basically a home game for Virginia Tech. They go and beat them in an epic game. Everybody's watching. They win.
Right.
Then they play Oregon State. They beat them. TCU did the same thing. All the people that was on there, they beat Oregon State. They beat those teams. They beat the Air Force. They beat all those teams that was on their schedule. And now they're stuck at 3 and 4, and they don't want to let them in the championship game. They're undefeated. What else do you want them to do?
Get in a bigger conference. I mean, I'm sorry, it's tough break. You playing La Tech and Hawaii. I mean, come on, seriously? These are guys that usually come in and get a paycheck to get their heads kicked in.
Yeah, that's true.
But I mean, and you expect me to take you over a one-loss Alabama team, or well, that's probably the only team with one loss that actually probably can get in is Alabama. Or you know, you expect you to leapfrog an Oregon team who's going out playing the best of the Pac-10 and destroying them, or do you expect this really? I mean, if you're Alabama, if you look at Alabama's schedule coming up, they have LSU this week. They got, I think, Georgia Southern. Who cares about that? But then they have Auburn. So you telling me if Auburn's undefeated going into this game versus Alabama in the SEC, that you would take either a one-loss Alabama or a one-loss Auburn team over a Boise State? Or
can I go against the grain on you? But Boise State beat an Oregon team last year, almost basically the same team, and Oregon lost to Boise State. Is that correct?
That's correct, but then again, you look at it, that was last year.
It was last year, but they bring it back basically the same team.
They're not, because Gerald Amasoli was on that team. He's not on that team now.
And you saying that he wasn't a great quarterback? If he does not get in trouble, but if he doesn't get in trouble, he's a starter. Am I right?
Well, obviously he got thrown out of the school, and Darren Thomas is being proved to be even better in the system because he's faster and he's more accurate passer.
Wow. Going back to you, Donald. So you're saying that they just have no chance. So you're saying that it should be a playoff. Now, looking over the course of the last few years, the only team that really got embarrassed was Hawaii. That was from a non-BCS conference school in BCS games. So actually, when these teams come and play, they actually come and show up. Let's go back to Utah, beating the crap out of the guys conference, Alabama. Oh, they wasn't prepared. Oh, Alabama wasn't prepared to play that game, huh? But Utah went and wiped them clean. How do you feel about that? They come and compete. How do you feel about when they do get the BCS games, they actually compete in those games?
Yeah, I mean, certain teams you match up. We're talking about a national championship game. Who's supposed to match up the best two teams in the nation. And you can sit here and honestly tell me that you will place Boise or TCU as one of the top two teams in the nation.
I honestly, on Against the Grain Sports Show host Jody Coleman, I can honestly say that. I can honestly say I watched Boise State play, and I think they got 3-star athletes that are getting opportunities to play as freshmen and sophomores because they're blowing so many teams out. So they're by the time they're a junior and senior, they're playing like 5-star athletes.
Well, you gotta look at it like this. They got all these cupcakes. I mean, you want, like I said, you want to Louisiana Tech, Hawaii, week in, week out, as opposed to even you look at it, if you're in the Big Ten, the Pac, you're playing a hard, tough game.
I understand that, but you cannot get mad at Boise State because who they play.
You can't get mad at who they play, but I'm sorry. Hey, life isn't fair. You have to deal with it.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad at them because of that. I'm just saying they're not a better team as an Alabama or Auburn or even an LSU or a lot of teams in the SEC, a Michigan State, a Iowa, Ohio State. These teams will kick their teeth in.
Okay, I got
That's just reality.
Okay, my question is, so if Boise State or TCU or Utah go and beat one of these teams, like Utah did go and beat Michigan, Boise State they went and beat Oregon, they went and beat Tech. You know, TCU had beat a few other teams that's in major conferences, but every time those teams win, it's always an excuse. Why is it always an excuse when those teams go and win? Jason, please let me know. You're the college fool. Why is that a problem when those teams go in, and why is it all the time? That's their Super Bowl. They wasn't prepared. Why is it not getting the credit?
The reason, they're going in there playing out of their mind. I mean, if you're Michigan, you're not getting up for Utah.
That's not my fault. That's coaching.
Well, you play as the coach. You're not getting up for Utah. You're not getting up for Boise State if they're coming in your house. They're coming to get a check. And those guys, they're coming to get a check and get their heads kicked in. They happen to win them, oh well. Tough break.
That's absolutely ridiculous right there. I think if you're going to do that, then don't even put these guys on the schedule. Quit putting them ranked number 3 in the country because you knew you didn't want them in the championship. Last year, that BCS game when you put TCU against Boise State was just absolutely ridiculous. College football, that was ridiculous. Why did you put them 2 against you? Because y'all was scared if they played a Florida, they played a Cincinnati, they would have went and beat them.
No, who couldn't beat Cincinnati? They weren't great.
Well, Cincinnati was undefeated.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying. But if they would have put those 2 teams against one another, was just awful. That was awful.
If you put Boise State in the Pac-10, they wouldn't go undefeated.
But they're not there. Y'all keep talking about what if. We talking about actual reality.
Well, if they undefeated, okay. I want to see them play. I want to see them play. I want to see them. Let them go play Alabama. If it happens out, Alabama and Boise State are in the title game. I guarantee you they'll lose by 30.
Okay, like I said, that's again.
With the team being in the SWAC right now, going undefeated, beating everybody by 40 points, do they deserve a chance to play?
I think if they go beat a potential Virginia Tech, yeah, they beat the major teams in their conference. Yeah. I'm not talking about a team like UNLV ain't win and play nobody. They win and play about Virginia Tech, and they win and play Oregon State. Oregon State still has to play Oregon. Remember that. That's a rivalry game.
Well, let's look at this. James Madison is one of the top teams in Division I AA. They beat Virginia Tech.
Okay.
So you throw Virginia. You say, oh, well, James Madison goes undefeated. Do you put them in a BCS championship game?
No, because they're not in the same conference.
They still get ranked.
If they get ranked, yeah, that they deserve. They go in there and beat who they supposed to beat. You got to put who on it. But that's not going to happen.
What does that say about Boise's win against Virginia Tech?
It says a lot because the Virginia Tech is undefeated in ACC play.
What does that say about the ACC then?
They have BCS conference. So what is y'all argument?
They win and lost to James.
Listen, like I said, that's what we're going to do on Against the Grain Sports. We're going to come back with this all year round until the end of the season. So we got Donald Coleman, we got Jason Coleman. We're going to have these questions. So y'all, I'll see y'all. We continue talking about that on Against the Grain Sports.
All right.
So thank you. Thank you very much. Like I said, Against the Grain Sports, the question is, should Boise State or TCU or Utah get an opportunity to play in the championship game? So everybody out there in Facebook land, answer this question. Check out this interview. Leave your questions in the comments. Let us know what you think. It's Against the Grain Sports, your host, Jody Coleman, live from Dayton, Ohio. Thank you.